Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. So I found this really interesting interview that Phil Spencer had with a game journalist in Game Lab, and he talked about some really interesting things, the vision that Xbox has, how they think the gaming industry is going to be shaped, and the choices that they have made and that they are actually making as well. So let us listen to the first question and then Phil Spencer's answer in short, and we carry on.
How do you think this current console generation should be remembered?
It's a good question. I think about, as you said, the generational transitions always are a good time for us as an industry, frankly, to reflect, as a platform to reflect. When I think about this past generation, I think what I'd say is this is a generation where we really saw the power or who's in control move from the device to the player.
This generation is shaped a lot with subscription models and timed exclusivity, so we don't have those really totally exclusive games. Even Sony has released Horizon Zero Dawn on PC, and there are even rumors about other games. Horst Herman, who is one of the biggest people in Sony in terms of corporation rank, has already spoken about the fact that you cannot really get enough revenue from console exclusivity and platform exclusivity. So now they are thinking about opening up to other markets, for example the PC market, in order to have bigger revenue and in order to have bigger exposure to their brand.
First-party content is really important to where we're going. It's important to our hardware platforms, it's important to things like Game Pass. I don't think our goal is to replicate what other people have done. It doesn't help the industry to have people that are trying to do exactly the same thing with their platform services or content. I'm really proud of the diversity of content that are...
Okay, so you can see here that he's speaking about the game studios that they have acquired. The question actually was about the first party titles that Microsoft is going to have for the Series X and the Series S, that is the cheaper model with less graphical capabilities but of course lesser price, that should incentivize people to buy consoles of the next generation. It's good to hear that Phil Spencer doesn't want to replicate what others do, like Sony and Nintendo. But it's also very important to note that some games and some business models or some game models are just very lucrative. So even if you want creativity, you still want to have that game that is going to sell well, that is a big name, that is going to be like one of the biggest reasons you would buy a console. Of course, they are moving also to Project X Cloud, so they're not really caring a lot about exclusivity. So you can play their games on the Project X Cloud service or on the Series X.
This is always a difficult kind of question because I know people are looking for the 1, 2, or 3 tech that only shows up on a certain platform or is only made possible on a certain platform. And I think it's just a matter of degrees, and it has been for a while. We can go back in console history and see things like 2D to 3D, which were dramatic kind of inflections in the creative canvas that creators were using.
So yeah, Phil Spencer knows that, but it doesn't seem like he's really so focused on it. Maybe because they don't have enough games to be called a must-have and an exclusive for their consoles, I don't know. And maybe that's why they are also focusing on Project X Cloud, because sometimes there are those good games, but they're not really that high quality enough to be a console seller. They probably would want people to try those games on Project X Cloud and think for themselves whether they would want to have that console and to have that ecosystem if they don't want to just play on the cloud and stream, because it can really be a very problematic solution to only stream games regarding the bandwidth. There is data cap and there are a lot of other problems like latency, etc.
Change and large change is always one of the hardest things in an industry. For us, it was about if somebody's going to go and innovate and create a new model for delivering content and consuming content, finding your next favorite game, we wanted it to be us. We didn't want somebody new to come in that didn't have the kind of history that we have in the industry, we felt like there was a unique opportunity for us there. But it is difficult. You can go back, it's the innovator's dilemma to some extent.
And so in this clip, he's speaking about cloud gaming and how it should be dealt with. I think Microsoft did a really good job to have Project X Cloud at a very low cost. And actually something funny here, he's throwing shade on Google Stadia indirectly, saying that Microsoft should be the one that should be innovating on cloud gaming and not someone like Google that doesn't have any history in gaming. And it pretty much shows that Google doesn't really know the gaming market very well, insofar as they charged people with subscription fees that are already high, and on top of that they have to buy their games on the cloud. So you have to buy a game that you want to play it, like a $60 game. Pay $60 and you pay Google for the cloud service. And yeah, it was a mess, and I think Google Stadia has become a joke as of now. It's not really that relevant, and it's really funny to see Phil Spencer throwing shade at Google Stadia in such a subtle manner. So this was just a fraction of the interview that Phil Spencer gave to GameLab. You can watch the whole interview if you want. I leave the link in the description below, and I am really looking forward to the Xbox July event. Microsoft is doing a good thing as far as cloud gaming is concerned, and they're also doing a good thing by giving the consumer the choice to play on the cloud or to play on consoles. So what do you think about this interview? And do you think that Microsoft is going to compete back and have a bigger market share in the future with their next-gen consoles and games? Or do you think that Sony is just going to keep the lead stronger and to further consolidate its position as the market leader? Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please leave a thumbs up, subscribe for more, and I will talk to you again soon. Have a good one.